Hi everybody, Pam Cuff here. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm sharing my kitchen today again with my good friend Kristine, and she's showing me how to make her favorite brand of Thin Mints today. Just another fun thing that you can do during the pandemic, because of course we know that if we're going to be stuck at home and bored, we are never going to be wanting for something to do if we reach out and try new things that we've never tried before. For myself, while Kristine is getting ready her second layer, the reason I started doing this is because I kept getting a bunch of comments and messages from friends on Facebook saying, gosh, you always have something new going on and you always have something different going on. And that's because I decided at some point that with the pandemic, being at home and stuck at home, I started to get a little sad and depressed and lonely, and I thought, oh my gosh, here you have, for the first time in my life, all this beautiful, lovely time, and what are you going to do with it? Are you going to take advantage of it, or are you going to actually accomplish some of the things that you've never had time to do before? So here we are, we're trying new things, me and my bestie Kristine.
Hello.
We're trying today to make her Thin Mint recipe, which is basically a simple Thin Mint candy that you buy at the store, but she's making hers a little bit more to her personal preferences, and so she's showing me how she does that. Learning something new every day is one of the things that we try to do, right? Who has time for this when you're working 40, 50 hours a week? I never have. And so now that I'm home and she's home, we're deciding to try all of those things that we were afraid to try before. And the list never ends, right?
True.
So, first of all, she took a bag of this chocolate right here. She's got the chocolate brand, and now she's doing the white, which is going to be the mint layer of the Thin Mints. So she put 12 ounces on a scale of the chocolate.
I use these bowls because it melts better in these bowls, and they're so light that when you measure them on the scale, you don't have any measurement. You just make sure it's at 0, you go to 12. I like 12 because the layers are perfect. And then I usually melt my chocolate between 2 and 3 minutes, but you have to watch it or it'll burn.
Yeah. And I hope that microwave's not too hot, but
no,
we just learned a few minutes ago that you have to use fresh chocolate, not chocolate that's old or out of date or has been oxidized. So that's a big lesson to learn. That's a pretty expensive lesson to learn. So first she melted a bowl just like this. She measured it on the scale, and then she mashed it all in before it was completely melted all the way down or even bubbly or even hot. She's got it all nice and melty, but just before it's finished, she took it out of the microwave and she's stirring and mashing the chocolate in this bowl to make it all smooth. So it's slowly, those last little few remaining chunks get blended in as the heat radiates through them. So you don't want to overcook it. You heard her. Don't overcook it.
Yeah, if you overcook it, it's an expensive mistake.
Yeah, this chocolate isn't cheap. So you got to be really careful and watch it. So now she's doing the second layer.
Don't forget the glare.
Yes. This chocolate on this cookie sheet, when you first lay it down, it is shiny and glossy. And then you watch it very carefully while you're doing your second layer. You watch it very carefully and get... as soon as this layer of chocolate that's on your pan starts to degloss and go more satin, like you see here, you can see it's a satin finish here. Then that's the time to get your second layer going, okay? Because you don't want this to sit for a long period of time before you add your second layer. Otherwise, it just doesn't quite work out.
And these little lines and that don't matter because the only part they're going to see is the bottom and the top.
Cool. This cookie sheet is a non-stick cookie sheet, and we did not prep it. You do not put anything on it. She did not spray it with anything, and she didn't put any parchment paper underneath there. Of course, you never want to use wax paper when you're baking with hot products because the wax melts into your product. So that's another thing that I learned. You use parchment paper. So she's just getting out of that microwave. and let them see there. Can you see that there's still little pills in there that are really soft? So when she stirs them up, that gets creamy.
And that way it doesn't get overcooked and you don't burn it.
She's using the heat
of
the other chocolate.
So I just do it like a frosting. If you're mixing a frosting and you have clumps in your frosting, I'm just continuously, you don't want to over knead it because it gets hard.
Yeah, you can't.
So you have to hurry. Try to get your clumps out the best you can. Now I'm going to add a little bit of food coloring, but it has to be the oil candy coloring.
Yeah.
It can't be the water-based of any kind. So I'm just going to add a little bit at a time till I get whatever color I like.
Tiny little drop. What is this brand here that you've chosen?
That's how little I added so far.
Tiny. I mean, like less than, what, a 1/16 of a teaspoon, something like that?
Well, we'll see. I might add a teeny bit more. You never know.
Okay. This is called Green Candy Color Oil. It's 2 ounces.
You want to add a teeny bit more? It's still yellow.
Oh, I'm scared.
No, just a drop.
We're trying new things, right? We're not being afraid. 2 drops.
Okay. Let's try that.
Okay, so we've got about a total of maybe 5 drops in there right now. So, American Color.
Okay, one more. It's getting hard, so we got to
green. 1 more drop.
Do 2 more.
2 drops. So that makes a total of 7 drops.
Little drops.
Yeah, just barely. We don't want it to be too dark and we don't want it to be too light. So she's making her color in a hurry here.
I kind of like that color. What do you think? Should it be a little darker?
Nice. Do you want 1 more?
1 more.
Okay, 8 drops.
Yeah, I like that color. Okay, I'm going to hurry because it's starting to get hard.
Okay.
Let me add my... Okay, very important. Your oil. Don't over add. I barely put any in. I take my cap. I cheat like my mom and grandma taught me. And I do like a half a cap. That's almost 3/4 of a cap. That's all you add. If you don't, you'll kill them.
So somewhere between a half and 3/4, depending on your personal preference. That's how much mint you add. Now,
can you smell that?
I have no sense of smell.
Oh, I forgot.
I lost my smell about, oh gosh, it's almost been 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's her best friend, forgetting.
Yeah, I saw. Well, it's so new to us. I mean, we've been friends for 35 years, and suddenly I have no sense of smell.
You see how I'm pouring?
Yep, she's pouring it out. Now, the thing she's chosen for her is, what does that say? I don't have my glasses on.
Peppermint oil.
Yeah,
I can't
My
glasses are in my purse.
Super strength peppermint oil, 100% pure. That's what she's chosen for her personal preference of oil flavoring.
Okay, you have to spread quick. You want to go corner to corner, side to side, but you can't take too long. I just take a spatula. I don't worry about what it looks like. I just make sure it covers it because it's hot, and if you play with it too much, it melts some of the chocolate, so it gets up into your mint. And I learned that the hard way.
Oh, so you have to not let it melt your chocolate.
Melting into my...
Yeah.
Because the mint is hot.
Yeah.
So the more you play with it, it gets into your mint. So you just got to try really carefully to...
smooth that out without over...
And you just want to go corner to corner, edge to edge.
Okay. So
that you have...
a smooth layer.
And then you can make it smooth after. You just want to get
it spread out?
Yes, because if you don't and it starts getting hard, you can't do anything about it.
Uh-huh.
So, see how I just spread it? It's still messy. Now I'm just going to take all this off because I don't want to waste any. Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
There you go. And then I shake it.
Oh, look at that. How smooth it went suddenly.
I just shake it back and forth. And back and forth. This doesn't matter because the other chocolate will be on top.
Oh, but even that is moving it. Get it!
Well, it's not really evening out there, so I'm going to try to fiddle with it a little, and then I'm going to jerk it around again. jerk it around again. I haven't been jerking it around for a while.
Is it? I told you when you're filming how the funny things that come
That's
up
awesome
that you're
for me. Sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, but
now she's seeing how hard this is.
Hey,
I was telling her today.
it's just me.
The things that happen when you're filming that you totally didn't expect, and how it changes how you talk.
My motto is, if you don't want to know, don't ask me.
Yes, it is. She's been saying that for many years.
Okay, I'm going to let it sit, even though they'll never know, because we're going to put the top layer over and then we'll cut them.
Cool.
But we got to wait for the glare to go off.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm trying to think of other things that we do together. We do our art projects.
Yes.
I did a new art project. You want to see it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I showed you this or not.
Probably not. There's your pigment.
Ta-da!
Holy cow, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that the funnest thing
That's
ever?
pretty. You
Look at
used
this.
those glass things we bought.
I did. We bought these together a long time ago. Don't know if you can see my new little art project. I was really afraid to do this art project. I was scared to
we
death.
couldn't find the glass shards, and then we found them really a good price at home.
Yes,
In
and it was
bags.
like $5 for a big giant bag of it. So anyway, basically I saw something. I don't remember where I saw it. Maybe YouTube. Or Amazon or Pinterest. Pinterest.
YouTube.
Was it YouTube?
You watch YouTube like...
I do. I love getting art projects off of YouTube. Anyway, so I saw it. It could have been, well, maybe it was
told me
Pinterest.
it was YouTube.
I did tell you that?
Yeah.
So anyway, here it is. I took a can of acrylic spray paint and I painted that onto my canvas. And then I took the acrylic silver. I did the dark midnight navy here and the silver shiny here. And then right down the center, I did my glass and my sprinkles and my sparkles. I combed the paint while it was still wet. In both sides, you can see the texturing that I added here. And
she likes sparkle.
I do. I'm a glitter queen, okay?
I'm a button queen, so...
Yes, she is. She gave me this hat. She likes hats as much as me. We have a million pictures of us trying on hats. That's one of our things that we do.
Everywhere
When
we go.
we used to go places back in the day when we could go shopping, the first thing we do is go find the hats, try them on, and take pictures of each other. We have a whole book of them. Anyway, so... once I got all the glass and the glitter, first I had to put down the glue. Don't let me forget that. I put down the glue, and then I sprinkled on the larger pieces, like the abalone and the shells, broken shells. And then I put on the glitter and the glass to whatever I wanted to do. And then I combed just the slightest little bit through the glass and the glitter, just enough. I took a straight edge, and I pulled down some of the stuff while the glue was still wet and the glitter was still wet. So anyway,
really cool.
I was really afraid to try that project.
Just
when I pulled down, I took a straight edge, like an edge of the flat edge of a butter knife.
Oh,
not
that's
the
what I was
sharp
wondering.
end, but the other
even
end.
up here, right? You just kind of...
I combed it down and brushed it down. I did all kinds of stuff to pull this down while the glue's...
with the knife.
Well, I did use a comb.
Oh, okay.
I started with a comb.
That's why I'm asking.
And then I wanted to, after I put this, I used a comb first while this paint was still wet. Then after I got my glitter while the glue was still wet and the glass was still, then I did a knife to pull down these edges. And then while it was slightly damp, the glue, there's a ton of glue on here, right? While that was still wet, I tipped it like this to dry, and some of these glass shards and different things started rolling down the canvas to give it a little bit more effect. So anyway, one more thing. We talked about this, as girlfriends do, and I was really afraid to try this project, and I just went ahead and did it because I'm home all day and I might as well just try things that I've never tried before. So you can do it too. Believe me, if I can do this, so can you.
She makes it sound easy. So the glare's going. You can see how some of it's dim, some of it's still shiny. We gotta wait just a little bit longer for the shine to go. And as it just gets a teeny patch of shine, then I'm going to melt this one. And I'll show you, I do the same thing. I just mix it until it's smooth. And then I pour it across and I hurry and try to make it level so it doesn't drag any of the mint up.
Perfect.
So,
what's another project that we did? Oh, you know what we made? You showed me how to do the blanket. She showed me how to crochet, and don't feel bad for her because it's not her teaching that made such a mess. It's my absolute incompetence.
I tried.
At crocheting. She really did. She spent a long time, and I just didn't get it. So, you know, I did end up doing 2 blankets out of the most basic elementary stitch that she showed me that I actually was able to do. So
just a single stitch with double crochet.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was really enjoyable because while I was sitting here, instead of eating something else, I kept my hands busy crocheting, and so that was really fun, and I actually ended up with something to show for it. So again, something I was really afraid to do. I went to the clearance sale at Walmart, and she showed me how to get yarn at a discount and while it was on clearance sale, and I picked out a bunch, and it did take about 10 skeins of yarn.
Well, yeah, it depends on how big you make it. I made my mom a real nice big one. Yeah. But then I did a lot of lap ones. Yeah. Which make it...
We should do a video.
It just seems faster with the lap ones because they don't take forever. Yeah. And you're not bored and sick of them by the time you're done with them, and they're not made with love by the time you're done. You're like...
like me. Okay, the thing was really bad. The first one was really terrible because I couldn't figure out how to remember the counting of stitches, and I couldn't figure out how things looked over each other. For you. She did, and I could not get it. It's just not in my wheelhouse. So I did do 2 blankets with the most basic elementary crochet stitch, and I did finally figure out how to make my edges even, and you know, how to keep a really close eye on where you're going. Anyway, you know, I am going to ask you to do a video with our friends of that crochet stitch that you used on your blanket, because I'm sure not everybody is as obtuse as I am. My good friend Kristine, she's so talented.
That's not true.
Oh, it was beautiful. Wait till you see this blanket that she made. Mm-hmm. Girl.
The one turned out. My painting turned out after 1.5 years. But you know,
she's won like 5 awards now. Maybe 6 awards for her paintings. Okay? I showed her how to paint, and I can't paint, and she's the
She can't paint. She's not telling the truth. Sorry, I gotta wash my hand. Got me going.
All right.
One thing you can do that's really a cheap, inexpensive, nice treat for people. Simple. Put on a cookie sheet a bunch of pretzels. Put them out. Take Rolo, candy Rolo. Unwrap them. Put them right in the middle of each pretzel. Put them in the oven on 250. Don't put them any higher because it burns. You want them to cook from the inside out. And then they'll melt from the inside out, down around the pretzel, and it's a pretzel caramel chocolate.
Wow.
Treat.
Did you spray the cookie sheet or? No. You don't hardly. These are good cookie sheets, dude.
I just use the non-stick.
They just don't ever stick.
But you can, the parchment paper you can use with pretzels because pretzels don't suck up the wax. Right. But you always want to put the wax side down. You never put, yeah. I do not know why people put the wax side up.
The shiny side?
Yeah, it's not a good.
Yeah. I only use the parchment paper. Instead of the wax.
Show them how the glares. I'm going to start.
See I don't know if you can see this. Let's see if we can figure it out. Sometimes can you see the shine is glaring off of there on that side, but it's not over here. See, can you see when that glare starts? You can see where the shiny is and where it's not. So we're waiting for that shiny to go away. So right now, where it's about halfway dull or turning to satin, about half of this cookie sheet is turned to satin. She's got her 3rd layer going in here in the microwave, right? Because by the time that microwave gets done and she gets all of her candy in the bowl smoothed out, then we can put this on here.
It's almost, if you what I do is I walk around it, because when you look at it from a different angle,
yeah, you can see how it's...
there's less glare on it than you see.
Right, because there's only a little patch right here now.
Right, and it dries,
It's
once
drying
it starts, it dries fast.
Yeah.
And then once you get your third layer on, once that glare's gone, you have to cut them. You can't wait. If you wait to cut them whatever size you want, they'll crack.
While they're still really warm
I mean,
from that third layer.
You don't want them wet. The glare has to be gone off of it. But right then is when you cut them, because if you don't, they just crack and...
So don't leave.
Yeah,
don't leave, because you won't
once
be
you start
able
making
to
them,
miss
you can't leave it. Because you can't leave one layer or two layers. They all have to be consistent. Because they're only really 5 minutes apart, if you think about it. So you can make thin mints in 20 minutes,
Yeah.
25 minutes, and tops 30 minutes if you just watch them. And then you just cut them.
Yeah.
And then you might want to show them the different flavors you can do too. You don't have to do mint.
Okay, so she's got Loranix cherry oil. That's what it looks like, if you can see that. She's got the peppermint. Can you see that? Okay, she's got the orange. I absolutely
They taste
love
like the orange
chocolate
sticks,
orange.
but they're just in squares.
Yeah. So that's awesome. And then she's got this peppermint oil.
You want to use the oil.
Go. Yeah. What else do you got on here? These are food colorings that she's got: American Color, Electric Orange.
Right?
Yeah.
They can't
She's
be any
got
water-based.
Forest Green. She's got another Electric Orange and Tulip Red. That's
It's
fun for the cherry, huh?
Smart me went out to my boyfriend's house yesterday, forgot the coloring. I had everything but the coloring, and I was trying to use old chocolate.
Come over here and so they can see you mixing.
I was trying to use the old chocolate, and it didn't work out. And I had to go buy the coloring because Smart Me had everything but the coloring. And I didn't want to have white mints, white thin mints.
Yeah, the green. You can't have a thin mint without the middle being green.
Yeah, it's like making an Oreo cookie without the white cream in the middle.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. So I'm just trying to mix without over mixing because there's still some clumps, but it's kind of getting hard, so I don't want to cook it anymore. So I'm just gently trying to get clumps out because the top kind of matters.
Yeah.
What they look like. There's still a few, but I'm to the point where I'm not going to be able to worry about it very much because it's going to get hard fast. And I don't want to overmix the chocolate. You'll learn as you make them. You're going to want to do an experiment batch.
That's what I told you, remember? Everything in Pam's kitchen is a science experiment.
Yeah, mine
Don't
too.
be afraid of failure because there's going to be failures all over.
Well,
and
you
that's
might as
okay.
well learn. And then once you perfect it or get it to where you're happy with it, people will want them.
Yeah.
So then what I do is I just start pouring. And I try to just pour it as far across as I can. But you don't want to waste any chocolate. Because it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that much money, but it really is once you start making them and you realize how much you spent.
Yeah, I was looking at those chocolate to see if I could get some on Amazon. And they were a lot more expensive on Amazon than they were from this CC Baker place. So that's the place to go for right now.
I tried to cut costs and I tried to use chocolate chips. There's still lumps in here, but it'll be fine. I tried to use chocolate chips, don't work. Don't
you
do
have to
it.
use baker's chocolate,
Yeah.
and you have to use a good quality of it. We did find out that we went to you went to Joann's, and it just wasn't any good. I did something where I bought the chocolate
It was
at
good.
Joann's.
It was just old already.
It was really old chocolate, and it didn't work. So that project was scrapped, and I didn't choose to go back to buy it. I don't know how you would check out the dates of chocolate to find out if it's new or old, other than looking for signs of oxidation.
If they're chalky looking, they're too old.
Signs of oxidation. I don't know if the bags have expiration dates on them, but that's something that you should be able to find out, because it's a lot of money. It's like, $18 to $24 to buy a bag of this baker's chocolate to get home and find out that it's old.
I'm going to be able to make with these bags. I bought 2 bags of the milk chocolate, 1 bag of the white chocolate, because you only do 1 layer of the white chocolate.
Yeah. And these are Christmas presents for her friends and family and her children. So she's become very popular in requests for her fun candies and desserts and treats that she makes, which is why I invited her to come to my kitchen and show you how to do it as well.
Lucky you.
Yee-hoo!
Okay, so it's spread. I'm just doing a last little brouhaha over it before, and now I'm going to take my excessive chocolate off because I don't want to waste it. Then I'm going to shake it.
And she's washed her hands like 4 times in the last half hour, so
I keep my hands
really
clean
good.
because I don't want to get anybody sick. Now if they bubble like that, sometimes they do, I just pop it with my slicer.
Oh, there's a couple right here. Yeah. Those are not good.
And it's
I have toothpicks.
No, this will work.
That'll work
it's
better.
Just,
okay.
It's not a big deal. You just, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But the more you shake it, the more air gets. So now I'm going to let it sit.
So if any of you are interested in my local area here in Salt Lake to come to my kitchen and demonstrate something that you love to do, or a new fun hobby that you found during the pandemic to encourage people, please let me know. DM me, PM me, whatever you want to call it. Send me a message, whatever. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to see if that's possible. Please remember that we are all responsible here. And so my good friend here, she has to go to the doctor all the time. And so she has tests every week. Yeah, she has medical issues that she's dealing with. And so she has tests every week. And she does everything she can to stay away from people. So I am very confident in keeping her in my very tight-knit bubble. But if you want to come and show us what you're doing in my kitchen, then we can work that out. How could you come to my kitchen and show everybody what your favorite product or handy hobby or craft is, so that other people can share with us? I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, before we close, because this glitter's going to take a while.
Because it's thicker?
Yeah.
Ah, the last one takes a minute.
Because it's the last layer, takes a little bit longer than the others. So what you're going to do, so you don't have to sit here and listen to us try to keep you entertained. Once the glaire's gone, you're going to pick your size. What I do is I mark it. I go along and I just kind of mark where I want to cut it all along the sheet. And then I go this way just on the edges. And then I cut them. And then your first 2 is like a cake slice. They're going to be gone. You can't. And one thing before I forget is you always go around your edges first, because if you don't take it off the edge, they'll just crack. So I go along my edges, then I do my however measurement size I want to do my squares, and then I cut them. Perfect. But it's like a cake. Your first 2, you have to get out. So they kind of break or
we're not professionals, so we're not quite sure, and we're not going to pretend to be.
No, I'm not. I'm just me.
It's just 2 average women. That's all we are. We're just showing you, trying to be inspirational and give you something of an idea or an inspiration to try something new.
Might as well. I mean, I thank God every day I wake up that I have a new day. Yeah. So.
Kristine and I have known each other for, gosh, it was 19...
Well, Trishell's 39.
Yeah, So 35 years.
Poor Pam.
No, we've been through a lot. We've been through ups and downs and marriages and divorces and kids growing up and growing pains and jobs and oh my goodness, we've been through everything. So we're pretty tight knit.
You poor thing. I still feel sorry for you.
She's so funny. You guys have to appreciate the hilariousness that is my little Kristine. I call her Chrissy Poo because she is the poo.
Please don't.
She's the poo.
If you want to be friends, you won't call me that. I only put up with it because I've known her for so long. Anybody else, I'd be like, no.
My little Chrissy Poo. Well, at least you're not Pambo, okay? When I was young, my siblings would go, Pam, spam, bacon and ham, and the whole shapam.
Isn't she lovely?
She's lovely.
Oh, darling.
We were joking. We joke about that all the time. I lived down south for a little while, and we have all of these funny little Southisms that I just really love and appreciate it. And one of them, isn't she lovely? When somebody does something truly horrible, atrocious,
and you can't stand them,
immoral, and you can't stand that
wish
behavior.
They would fall off the planet.
You just look at them and go, isn't she lovely?
And they have no idea that we're saying that we wish they'd fall off the planet.
Yeah, it's called nasty nice, and it's a southern social behavior that I just absolutely love.
Well, or you got the American one, you know, that's not as nice.
All right, we're just waiting for this pan to get satin, and it's starting to turn on the edges. I can see, just barely getting started.
So tell them about even though you put it on the other one, tell them about the chocolate brittle. Because if they didn't see the other video.
Oh, okay. We just did another chocolate brittle. Do you want to get it out of the fridge?
Yeah.
I bet it's ready. We did a chocolate brittle video earlier, and that should be ready now, so we'll show you what that turned out like. So you can see how the finished product looks. And I'm not sure how to edit here, so we'll just have to see how that turns out. Oh, look how fun.
I can hear it cracking already. Can you hear it?
Yep.
So, cracked. What I do is I try to get a corner.
You want to cut it, or?
No, I just get a corner. See how it comes right up?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
See that? I just break it.
So this is a peppermint chocolate that we just made a little while ago, and it's
peppermint
wonderful.
Chocolate brittle. And you can just...
If you want to see that, you'll have to look for that when I post it.
But
this
is how easy it is.
Back to back.
Took us like 3 minutes, right, to make?
Super. She had already chopped up the peppermint crunchies in the bag.
You buy those at Dollar Tree for $1. And all you need is 1 or 2 bags, but the pain in the butt is hammering them to pieces.
To tiny little pieces.
What I use is a pillowcase, and then I put the pillowcase in 2 garbage bags because they peppermint, just the powder.
Oh.
You feel like you're peppermint high.
It's up in your sinus.
So I just use a pillowcase, a clean pillowcase. And then I put them in garbage bags and then hammer them till it's the pieces that I like. I don't like big pieces. Mine are pretty small. I do not like the big, huge peppermint chunks. And then there you go.
You have little
done
packages that you put them in for gift giving?
I put them on a plate, a Christmas plate. I put a couple pieces, depending on the family size. If it's for little kids, I would make them smaller. If it's for adults, I would put like 4 of these, 12 Thin Mints, my pretzel things that I told you about, and I make peanut brittle in the microwave. Maybe we'll have to do that one. And I'm going to try to teach myself how to make caramels and make them turn out.
That's amazing.
There you go.
That chocolate is really smooth, and I am very picky about my chocolate.
This is almond bark. It's not even, it's chocolate
That's
almond
why it's
bark.
so smooth. Everything about it is
That's all it
smooth.
is. You buy it at Walmart, and you can afford it. You go someplace else for those blocks, they're more. If you go to Walmart, they're like $3.50. And look how much candy I made with a $1 bag of peppermints. For $5.50, I just made probably 10 plates of just the bark with
the thin mints.
Yeah, and everything on it.
That's perfect. Wow. And it's really good.
Why this one side is done. I'm not going to cut the whole thing because it'll mess up all my hard work. But I am going to show you, if you go along the edges.
Yeah, because the edges are ready.
You've got to make sure you get to the bottom of it. And you'll wonder if you got to the bottom, but you'll know. And what I do is I just take this, and I'm very careful when I pull it out because it's still soft. You'll tear it. And I just go around my edges.
Yeah, I saw it. Just a littlest bit of a movement there.
Because it's not quite done.
Yeah.
But if I cut the edges off now,
yeah,
it's easier to cut.
That's not what when you were saying you got to remove the edges, you're cutting them literally. You're cutting them and defining the edges.
Yes.
Wow, that's
so. That way it saves all that chocolate you're not wasting. Yeah, you end up with these little slivers on the sides. That's for kids and husbands.
Yeah.
Grandkids, they'll eat them.
Yeah.
See how it's still too soft?
Just a little tiny buckle there.
So,
can you push that back down the slightest little bit, or does it not
you
matter?
Can try. No.
No.
So I think the only side that might be is right here. Is we'll just try it. If it ruins it, then you'll know not to do it. I'm doing it for your sake because that way you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to go along here.
And it's completely satin.
But you got to make sure you get clear to the bottom. And if you have a question, then you just redo it. And I usually just, if I question myself, I scrape it. Just to make sure.
I guess I'm going to have to get me one of these tools. I used to have one years ago. They're not expensive. I just haven't bothered to go get one. I'm sure I'll order one on Amazon and have them bring it to me. That way I don't have to go out to the store.
Now the problem is going to be cutting it out because there's, so what I'm going to do for your sake
that
is I'm going to cut this way.
As well. Yeah, that's completely satin.
I'm choosing to do a small square, and then I'm going to make bigger squares. I'm going to do 2 sizes because some people don't like a lot of mint, thin mint, and some people like big squares. Now this one cracked.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to use this
as the one that you
as
use
the
to
one
get
I'm
it
going
out.
to ruin.
Okay.
To get them out.
I'm going to wash my hands really quick here.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scoop this one corner out. See if I can get away with it. If not, then I'm not going to ruin the whole pan. Just to show you how to cut mints. You can just cut your mints when they're done.
It's all about learning and using these science experiences, huh? Science.
Well, I just don't want to ruin it to show them how to cut them out.
Yeah.
Taste that.
Yeah.
It's not too minty.
That's really good chocolate too.
So I'm just going to move that aside.
Really nothing I hate worse than biting into a chocolate bar and all I taste is wax.
Right.
And there's just no flavor at all.
Or just the flavor. But this way, if you only add the mint that I told you to add, then it's even.
It is really
balanced. Because otherwise, you're like, bing!
That's amazing. And that chocolate just melts in your mouth.
Yes, it's good chocolate.
Yeah. And you know there's no preservatives on crap all over in here.
No.
Plus it's a handmade gift.
Well,
I mean,
you know, I try.
It's a brilliant idea.
Some people I don't like to make handmade gifts for. Just being myself. Sorry. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go because there's still a glare. But I'm just trying to show you, you can cut them whatever size you want. Mm-hmm. Those are going to be my square sizes. This one I'm questioning. See, so I just cut it that way to make sure I'm to the cookie sheet. Now I'm going to cut bigger. I'm not going to worry about, oh my gosh, they're uneven, because nobody cares.
Right.
I'm not going to give them all the same size. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll just put them on a sheet, and if they eat them, they eat them. If they don't,
yeah, I would like the nice little bite-sized ones, and my husband would like the larger sized ones.
Yeah. See, and that's how it goes. So, because it's starting to finish, I'm going to have to cut all of it. Now that we've been talking and we were trying to show them how to do it without...
You got a good jump on it, though.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to keep cutting.
You're okay. That's what we're doing here.
Because if I don't, then they're not going to be... They're going to break. This isn't the funnest part.
Yeah.
But when they're done and they're all cut and off the sheet and people are just going, yummy, it's just amazing. They're actually better than Olive Gardens. Yeah,
they really are. I mean, they melt in your mouth like that, but the flavor is really lovely and delicate.
Well, the chocolate is more of a softer chocolate.
It really is. It just melts in your mouth.
And it's milk chocolate. It's not the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
They are.
If you want to cook with dark chocolate, don't know what to tell you. It burns. I haven't been able to cook with dark chocolate like I can milk chocolate. Dark chocolate burns too easy for me.
That's interesting. I would never have known that.
It just burns. I don't know if it's because it tastes like chalk. Kidding. Don't like dark chocolate, as you can tell. It just... Yuck. Now I'm going to make bigger ones towards the middle. A little bigger. Because everybody's different. And I'm going to do the same size. And then I'm going to go small so I can get the most out of my end. I'm going to do 3 small. And it just happens. It's not like I planned it that way. I was just cutting and thought about it on my way. So,
but those first couple of rows are sacrificial lambs anyway, so if you made those small...
Well, they're not. Hopefully it's not rows that break. Okay. Hopefully, if I do this right, the way they usually cut, I think the only ones that are going to break are these 4. Because, see, they already broke. Mm-hmm. But it's okay because...
That's where you have to get your...
That's where you got to get into
leverage.
Now, that one stayed together.
Okay, let me get a...
Kind of.
Let's see, I have a plate here.
I had one, but I left it at the house with everything else. So you got this one's okay, that one's okay. This one's a sacrificial lamb.
We'll put all the sacrifices over here.
Okay. Here's another one. Okay, so this is the easiest way. Once you get those out, if you very gently just go along the edges and make sure they're loose, because if you don't go around your edges again, because they set back into because the chocolate is still seeding and getting comfortable. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I went this way, this way, and this way. Now I'm going to show you how easy these will pop out. And I don't do it fast, because if you pull, it'll pull them apart.
You scooted that forward a little bit so
See
that it loosens up on the bottom. You've got the whole technique down. You're so smart.
I just had to practice. I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
There you go.
She scooted that. She got
See
the
the
wedge
front
in there.
and the back.
They're amazing.
And then what I do is we grab those boxes.
Yep.
I'm going to show them. I bought these boxes for dirt cheap. And I'm just going to stack them. There's 2 done. If you want to just, as I'm cutting, I just set them like this. And if I have other I don't do all thin mints because it would cost a fortune. So I would do like half thin mints, turn them sideways and stack them. That's just a for instance. It's not done. I'll let you and then I put something else in there, like the caramel or the candy bark but
the pretzels with the Rolo.
Yep.
That'd be fun too.
Or the corn pops. Those are excellent and cheap and fun to make.
We should try that. We got to do all of them because
Okay.
I think these are really great ideas. They're not expensive, so cost prohibitive that people can't do them, which is...
See how they just come out? That one broke, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because
you're
going
got a
to have...
sacrificial lamb plate over
Well,
there.
you're going to have...
Boo.
You just... I mean, what do you do? But anyway, that's all you do. They come...
Yeah, it's amazing.
But you just got to keep cutting because if you don't, they'll start cracking. So you got to get them out of the sheet as quickly as you can.
You can't leave and come back. You have to get them all done while they're still very, very slightly warm.
Yep. And I grab them from the bottom and the top because if you don't, then they'll come apart. And then once they've sat for a while, they'll stay.
Yeah. So here's a little box idea, I guess. See, I'm not sure if you can see that. We have the thin mints all stacked up. And
that's not all of them, but that just gives you an idea as to what you can do.
How you can make this box, and then it folds up. And it's a really cute handmade gift. Very thoughtful. And it saves money.
There you have it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and welcome to my kitchen. I hope you had a great time and appreciate the experience of sharing our new science experiments and hobby exploration. We're trying new things every day, and we're trying to overcome our fears, right? While we're stuck at home, we might as well do something great.
Might as well. Who's going to know?
Right? It's like me with the yoga. Oh, I'm so glad nobody's watching.
I don't do yoga. You can tell. But nobody's going to know. You might as well do it. And then if it turns out, that's when you show everybody, look what I did.
Yeah. Like me with my first crochet blanket. Nobody's ever seeing that, baby.
I'll show it to you.
All right, everybody. Signing off. Thanks for coming to Pam's Kitchen. Talk to you later.
Bye.